Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupah Kadamakyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Dalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatyadesh Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Rama.
Hare Krishna. So today we are discussing from Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, second chapter, text number 16. Shushrusho Shaddadhanasya Vasudeva Katharuchihi Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipraha Punyatirtha Nishevanat. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Translation. O twice-born sages, by serving those devotees who are completely freed from all vice, great service is done. By such service, one gains affinity for hearing the message of Vasudeva. Purport. The conditioned life of a living being is caused by his revolting against the Lord. There are men called devas or godly living beings, and there are men called asuras or demons who are against the authority of the Supreme Lord. In Bhagavad Gita, a valid description of the asuras is given, in which it is said that the asuras are put into lower and lower states of ignorance life after life, and so sink to the lower animal forms and have no information of the absolute truth, the personality of Godhead. These asuras are gradually rectified to God consciousness by the mercy of the Lord's liberated servitors in different countries according to the supreme will. Such devotees of God are very confidential associates of the Lord, and when they come to save human society from the dangers of godlessness, they are known as powerful incarnations of the Lord, as the sons of Lord, as servants of the Lord, or as associates of the Lord. But none of them falsely claim to be God themselves. This is a blasphemy declared by the asuras, and the demoniac followers such as asuras also accept pretenders as God or his incarnation. In the revealed scriptures, there is definite information of the incarnation of God. No one should be accepted as God or an incarnation of God unless he is confirmed by the revealed scriptures.
Hare Krishna. This is a very, very famous verse. It is what we are all discussing this morning. So many devotees have come for the early morning today. Very nice to see him. Shushrusho Shraddhadanasya Vasudeva Katharuchi. When we actually serve great souls in two ways. By serving them and observing them. Like Srila Prabhupada's disciples have written many books about Prabhupada, isn't it? They served Prabhupada's physical body by cooking for him or washing his clothes or transporting him or purchasing things for him and all that. That is serving. Observing means how he faced the atheistic scientists and how he preached to the new people and how he preached to the older devotees, how he dealt with the management and how he inspired people. So that's by observing. serving and observing. In serving also there are two things. You can serve the body or you can serve them by hearing and Krishna Katha from them. That is also another type of service. Right now all of you are entering service now by hearing. Correct now? This is also one type of service. It is a Shravanam service, Shravana Seva. So by hearing and inquiring and entering service, what are the three words used? Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. So when we hear and then render service, then the questions will be meaningful. Then we make a lot of progress. But I was planning to speak on a very important topic of how to recognize reciprocation from the Lord. You see, the scriptures abound with examples of Lord's reciprocation with his devotees. You all know Madhavendra Puri. He was just sitting and chanting in the Govinda Kund. And then Krishna came like a coward boy and gave him a pot of milk, right? Later on, when he drank the milk and he dozed off, then he recognized that who was it? Krishna. Then he cried out that I could not recognize Krishna. I am so unfortunate. I would have spent more time with him. Then again when he dozed, then Lord came in his dream. That is a second reciprocation. So what did Madhavendra Puri do? He chanted the holy name all day without any expectation in return. And how did Lord reciprocate? By giving his darshan. And then coming in the dream and asking him to render service to him by taking him out of the bushes and placing him on the top of the Govardhan hill, right? And then building a temple for him and doing Abhishek, Annakut festival and all for him. So that's the second reciprocation. First reciprocation is coming and giving milk. Second reciprocation is, giving him chance to render Vigraha Seva for him. So later on, it went on for 2 years or so. Every day Annakut festival went on. Then after 2 years, the Lord wanted to again have some exchanges with him. He came in his dream and said, go to Malaya Hills and get me Chandan. So again here Lord is offering another opportunity for seva. One seva was to put him on the top of the hill and worship him. Now another seva is to bring Chandan for him because it was very hot for applying on his body. So that was a third reciprocation from him. And then on the way, of course, he didn't even had a second thought. As soon as Lord came in the dream and said, he got up and was ready to go 1,000 miles without hesitation. Somebody may say that, thank God it was only a dream. If God personally came and told me I will be forced to go, did they say like that? No, he was ready. Whether Lord came personally or came in a dream, he was ready to go. So he went 1,000 miles from Vrindavan to Puri. But then one more reciprocation Lord had with him, which is Kshirchor Gopinath. And Lord stole the Amrit Keli pot for him. That was the fourth reciprocation. Later on, Lord had one more fifth reciprocation with him, where he said, see, the Gopinath and me, Gopal, we are non-different. Instead of offering to me, you can go to Ramana and offer the same Chandan to Gopinath only, he said. So that is also another reciprocation. So he did that precisely. All the pujaris were very happy. Suddenly they found Lord is getting a lot of Chandan paste for applying in Lord's body. They were very happy. So he got 5 reciprocations. You can see this. For the inoffensive, pure, attentive chanting that he did in the bank of Govinda Kunda. Similarly, you find Lord is very famous for reciprocating with his devotees like this. You find Muchukunda, in the previous life he had done a lot of penances. And then in this life he became a Muchukunda Raja. He was assisting demigods and fighting against the demons and all that. He was sleeping in a gufa and Lord came and woke him up and gave him darshan. Lord told him that, Pratitam Pracharam Purvam, previous tapasya you have done, you want to see me, therefore I have come. So you had a desire to see me, I am now reciprocating with you. The Lord said, that's another example of Lord's reciprocation. Even though Muchukunda had apparently forgotten what he did for the Lord, he had forgotten. This is the amazing thing with him, that even if somebody did some devotion service, they became preoccupied with something else, Lord doesn't forget what they had done. He remembers and comes in the life of the devotee and gives darshan. So, in the same manner, you will see that If somebody, like for example, there is one Nathamuni who actually in his old age was about to leave the body, but he sent one of his disciples, Ram Mishra, to go and help with one Yamuna. His name is Yamuna, but Yamuna Charya he became later on. When he was a small boy, tender boy, 8-year-old boy, he won a debate with a king, for which he was given half the kingdom. At that time, he used to recite Bhagavad Gita daily and everything. But when he grew up, like Gauranga Prabhu says, when he was a small boy, his mother taught him Vishnu Sahasranam. After that, he got into engineering and everything, he wasn't reciting. But when he came to ISKCON again, he got revived. All that he learned, he remembered, I learned about the Lord so much. And then, what is because of Vishnu Sahasranam? Now he is floating in all shlokas. In Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Charitamrita also now. So, sometimes we all have experience. We have done something in the young age and later on it gets revived at a later age. And that happened to Yamuna also, Yamuna Charya. So, but how it happened is very amazing. Because he had become a very, very busy king. Outside his palace there were many chariots. Just like nowadays a big man's house is having many cars outside. Like that. He was very too busy. He had no time. Nobody could meet him. Getting an appointment was very difficult. So Ram Mishra went to the kitchen from behind and gave one particular leafy vegetable called Tuduvalai. And he got it cooked and told them to serve. And of course it was served to him. It was sattvic, very sattvic. So eating that, the king's mind became very sattvic. He liked it also. He wanted it. He asked, who is the fellow who brought it? Why is he not bringing nowadays? Then he got an encounter with the king. Of course, the long story cut short, he told the king that why I was coming to you, you were not allowing me to meet you. But your grandfather has a great treasure kept for you. And the treasure is covered by, it is protected by a multi-hooded snake. And there are 7 coverings which are protecting it. So if you come, I can give you. He said, can I send some minister with you? He said, no, only you have to come and take. So of course he went with him. On the way he was singing Bhagavad Gita. The whole remembrance of Gita came. He became a pure devotee again. Yamunacharya. Later on, he was the one who became Yamunacharya. And that snake protected treasure was who? Not Ranganath. Ranganath protected by the Ananta Shesha. And the 7 walls of the Srirangam temple. So now, in one moment, after hearing the Bhagavad Gita, he came back to full-blown consciousness. And then he was not attracted to kingdom and anything anymore. And he went on to become such a big Acharya. Ramanujacharya surrendered his life to him. You can see that. So, he had forgotten apparently and he was brought back. So, Lord arranged, he is my devotee, I should bring him back. Lord brought him back. So, in this way, we can quote many examples of Lord's reciprocation in the lives of great devotees. Lord himself either coming or sending some kind of arrangement for the devotee to come to his lotus feet. He says, Yenamam upayantite, dadahami buddhi yogam tam, yenamam upayantite. So, like there was one queen, this queen once had gone to Jagannath Puri. She saw Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, and she thought, my dear Lord, what can I give you? Because you own everything. All the, millions of universes belong to you. So who can give you what? Anything we pick up and give you, that belongs to whom? You only. So what can we give you? So she was deeply absorbed in thought. I want to give something, but I don't know what to give. So after returning to her kingdom, I heard she was a Rajput queen. She went to the north. So after returning, she was constantly remembering Jagannath in her mind. At last she made one big box like this. This was a big box. And she asked one servant that you go and deliver it to Jagannath. Oh, this will have to go a long way from North India to, Jagannath Puri. He went and delivered this big box. So it was given to one Panda to be offered to Jagannath. So the Panda thought that, Queen has sent it. Maybe a lot of jewelry for Jagannath, he thought. So he opened the box and then it was more and more covered and covered and covered, just like sometimes we get a lot of packaging. He removed and removed and removed. At last he found, one kind of leaf in which something was written. He thought, that's it. Queen is sending only this much. So he just threw it in one corner. He said, this queen has cheated. She's just packaging everything but not giving any gift to Jagannath. No, he thought like that. But Jagannath came in the mind of the Panda and he scolded him, hey, where is the queen's gift for me? You didn't offer it to me. Panda said, what is that to offer, my lord? Only packaging is there. Nothing valuable in that. Lord said, the leaf that you found out, bring it to me. So he took out the leaf and he kept it. And later on, one senior Panda, when he saw what it is, it was written in that leaf that, oh Jagannath, who can give what to you? Everything is owned by you. But I have found out that when you left Vrindavan and came to Dwaraka, you have lost your mind in Vrindavan. Therefore, you are so disturbed and your eyes have become so big, dilated, and you are in confusion whether to go to Vrindavan or stay in Dwaraka. In your confused and ecstatic state, your eyes look so big. Because you have lost your mind, that is one thing which you don't have. So, if you don't mind, I can give my mind to you. So, you can take my mind. Like that, she had written a poem. And Jagannath liked that poem very much because it is coming from a very esoteric understanding. Jagannath saw that. So, Jagannath was very pleased. So, later on, this Panda passed the message to the queen that I was about to throw it. But Jagannath demanded it and accepted it. That is the reciprocation Jagannath showed to her devotion. Correct, no? In this way, you will see there are innumerable pastimes. You all may be knowing the Arjunacharya got a reciprocation also. When he had cancelled the statement, Yoga Kshemam Ahamyaham. Then Krishna Balram, as small boys, beautiful boys, they came bringing all the grocery to deliver at home. His wife was innocent. She was not aware. Who are they? And then she saw there was a mark behind that blue boy, sharp mark. Later on, when Arjunacharya came, he came and told her, what was that mark? Because I striked off that statement, Yoga Kshema Mahamiham. So Lord Krishna got hurt by that. And I said that he is not supplying our goods, so he came to supply. So, there are many, there is one more similar thing with Jayadev Goswami also. Jayadev Goswami was writing Gita Govinda. In that one vision he got, where Radharani's devotion was so much appreciated by Krishna, and Krishna's bowing his crown at the feet of Radharani. And he just couldn't take it. He thought, how is it possible? Krishna is the master of everyone and everything. How he can bow down? So he didn't write it. But then when he went out, then Krishna assumed the form of Jayadev. He came and he completed it on that line. What is it statement? Dehi Pallav Mudaram. There is one, before that also, there is two more statements. Basically, Dehi Pallav Mudaram, that statement says that, oh Radharani, your devotion is so exalted that I bow down to your feet. Like that he says that. So Krishna himself wrote that statement. So when Jayadev Goswami came back, he cried tears. He said, that means what realization I got was correct. And my wife is very fortunate that she could see Krishna, although Krishna came in my form. So, again, this is another example of Lord's reciprocation. So, we can give innumerable examples in the scriptures. Like Prabhupada is going to America, on the way he's getting a couple of heart attacks. And then Lord came as all the 10 avatars, correct? Along with Gaurnitai, and they all gave him assurance, do not worry, we are with you. You go to America and you will get success. And you are never alone. We are all going to accompany you and you will be very successful. Go ahead. So Prabhupada went ahead. So he got a signal from the Lord like that, protection, and for accompanying him when he was going to America. So now, in the same manner, many of the practicing devotees also have a expectation that I am doing devotion service. I also want some reciprocation from the Lord. They have anticipation that Lord reciprocate with me also. But in the eagerness for getting reciprocation, sometimes people tell many imaginative stories about Jagannath, or about any other form of the Lord. They tell, Lord came in my dream and he said this. Like one man came to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, you came in my dream yesterday. Prabhupada said, what did I say? He said, you told me no problem, I can smoke cigarettes. He said, Prabhupada said, that is not me, that must be a ghost. So Prabhupada said, you are imagining something. That's not true. Another devotee told Prabhupada that, Prabhupada, you came in my dream and I saw that in the place of Krishna, you were there, and in the place of Arjuna, I was there, and by the side there was a chariot. Chariot. Instead of Krishna, Arjuna, Prabhupada and the disciple were there, and the chariot was there. And then you were giving me the same teachings what Krishna gave to Arjuna in the battle to Kurukshetra. And Prabhupada said, oh, that's a wonderful dream. That's a perfect dream, Prabhupada said. Because I am repeating in Guru Parampara. And you could recognize that. So there is no loss if anybody hasn't seen Krishna eye to eye. Because you're hearing the same message coming in Guru Parampara, like the Prabhupada said. So, and also Her Grace Yamuna Mataji also had one dream. She said about how Prabhupada is leading and he's taking all millions of souls back to Godhead, and all are flying with him back. And Prabhupada appreciated the dream because the dream is a reality actually. He did deliver hundreds and thousands of souls and took them back to Godhead. So here comes very easy to recognize way whether the reciprocation is true or false. Whether it is in alignment with the Siddhanta, Guru Sadhu Shastra. That should be checked. If it is not, then one shouldn't imagine some reciprocation to be true. So, for that matter, in India, people are, so many people tell so many concocted things in the name of religion. And that is one of the reasons why many educated people have lost faith. And they have turned to atheism. So, and why would people do that? Like there was a Vishak Sen in Jagannath Puri. When Bhaktivinoda Thakur came to know, British people had complained to Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He came to know that this fellow would sit in front of the fire and he would put his face into the fire repeatedly like this. And all the people would watch. He's putting his face in fire, nothing is happening to him. He's a great Baba, very powerful Baba. Not only that, sometimes in front of a big public, he would stand and he would produce fire from his head, from his hair. So people would clap hands and they thought he's a magic Baba. He's doing so many things. And he had two more people with him. He said, I am Vishnu and he is Brahma, he is Shiva. So three people, they were together. Later on, British people were especially concerned about him because he had told people that I am an avatar, I have come to drive out British. And I am going to take the British Raj and I'll be ruling the whole India. So when British people heard it, they were afraid maybe this Baba will do something. So they wanted to take action on him. So they had put Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Bhaktivinoda Thakur was the only one who could handle him. He went with many, many constables, police constables and everything. Personally he went. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur in the beginning very politely told him, why don't you come to Jagannath Puri and take darshan of Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra? So this fellow said, who said he is Jagannath? I am the Nath of Jagat. I am the master of the whole creation. In fact, everybody who goes to Jagannath Puri should come to me. They should worship me. And very soon they will recognize who I am. This kind of things he spoke. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur became wild really. He said, this fellow has gone berserk. He has to be taught a good lesson. And of course, he laid an order that he should be arrested. Many were even afraid to arrest. Bhaktivinoda Thakur's daughter suffered from severe fever. In fact, Bhaktivinoda Thakur himself suffered from terrible diseases and everything. For some period of Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, I am ready even to die if need be in order to expose cheaters. I won't mind even laying down my life for that, he said. Then later on, one fellow found out that this fellow's whole mystic power is there in his hair. So when he cut off his hair, that was the end of this Baba. He died, that fellow. And then they also arrested the other two, Brahma and Shivas. They said, no, neither are we Brahma nor Shiva. He told us to say like that. He said, okay. That you can tell in the court, come with us now. They took them also. So there are a lot of cheaters around in this land, and many people, gullible masses, are misled by them. So therefore, we should not be too hasty for getting reciprocation. And those people who very much are hasty for getting reciprocation, they want to prove something that is perceivable to our senses. Because they say that if tangibly Lord does something and some flower falls in my hand, or some some Akashvani speaks something, some magic happens, and then people will recognize me, and I will be considered a great soul. So this kind of thing people expect, and due to that, many times they speak many things which are not true also. So at the same time, we all are getting reciprocation in our life, and I'll tell you how we are getting that reciprocation. That we can learn from the Shastra itself. This series of verses which you all are reading now currently, here you will find Prabhupada put it in a very simple manner. He said, Adav Shraddha means first you have some little faith. You come to the class, you hear a lecture, you sit. Sadhu Sangha. Then you develop attraction for saintly association. You take that association. Then Bhajana Kriya. They give you mala and then you chant Hare Krishna. Then Anattanavritti. All the smoking, drinking, all bad habits go away. And then Nishtha means you become firm in your bhakti. You regularly come in association, regularly chant maybe 16 rounds and become a seriously situated devotee. Nishtha. And the ruchi starts coming. You start developing taste in devotional activities. You also want to stitch a dress for the Lord, make garland for the Lord, make ornaments for the Lord, put up a Rath Yatra festival for Him, do a lot of services for Him, and also distribute Prabhupada's books, many things like that, do Harinam Sankirtan and all that. So then in this way, ruchi develops, taste. And then as the ruchi develops, then it turns into asakti, means a firm attachment. Just like when a mother or father they are serving a small child, by repeated service to the child, they develop attachment to the child. Similarly, by repeated service to the deities, Krishna, then one develops attachment to him. And then bhava develops, feelings arise, and then the prema ultimately will be attained. So Prabhupada used to often say this in the West. So these are all reciprocation of Krishna for the devotee who has sincerely, seriously practiced Krishna consciousness. So, like we were reading today, Shushusho Shaddadanasya. If you have faithfully served Prabhupada, the saintly person, then the result is your taste for Katha will increase. He says that is the Lord's reciprocation with us. So we can verify whether my taste for hearing about the Lord, knowing about Him, loving Him, serving Him, is it increases. There's one verse. He says this, our Prithu Maharaj. Yat pada seva viruchis tapasvinam aneka janmopachitam malam diyahat sadyakshinotyan bhagamedati sati yada padangushta vinishrita sarit. He says that just like when Lord Krishna put his lotus feet in the Ganges river, it became pavan, it became very holy. Similarly, when we take Krishna's lotus feet in our heart by hearing about him, then our heart also becomes like Ganges, he says. Gets purified completely, he says. So that is reciprocation of the Lord. So heart gets purified, taste for hearing increases, then spiritual fixity comes, you become one-pointed in spiritual life. And all the unwanted dark, tendencies will go far away. Like we say, prema bhakti yaha hoite, avidya. So these are all Lord's reciprocation. So that is explained in this chapter. And also, the Lord reciprocates in varieties of ways. One of the ways it is said, by Krishna you get Guru, it is said, correct? By Guru you get Krishna. Like one time, one fellow got fed up with all this bogus swamis and everybody. So he left the city in the west and he went to the forest. He thought that I'll go to forest and practice the life of an Indian yogi. So he went to a hill. In the hill he made a hut. And he lived in a hut. He used to cook with his own hands every day and sit in yogic posture. And he had some Indian yogi books he carried with him. So he decided that whole life will spend there only. So it was a thick jungle. He was living there. So one day what happened? There was a car passing by through that forest on the road. And the car had some repair to be done, problem. So he stopped the car and then he climbed up the hill. He saw the small hut with the smoke coming out. So he went and asked this Yogi Baba, can you please help me? And the Yogi came down. He was aware what to do. He helped him put the stepney or something, helped him and the car was repaired. So that fellow was very thankful. And he wanted to give him something. So he went inside the car and he saw a suitcase. Then he opened the suitcase and he took out the Krishna book was there. He gave it to this Yogi. Because he had purchased it in the airport. Some devotees were showing it. So he purchased one Krishna book. Now he gave that. And the fellow went away. And the yogi read the Krishna book and he became awakened. Then he came back and joined ISKCON temple after that. So when I heard it, I was so amazed that he is in the jungle, so but Krishna is going to him. Correct, no? How Krishna is reciprocating with the sincerity of the yogi. Even in the jungle, you can see that. My spiritual master told another similar pastime. He said that there was one fellow eating watermelon and watermelon slipped out of his hand. It fell into some, dustbin. So when he put his hand to pick up the watermelon, he got a Bhagavad Gita. So he saw, what is this book? He opened it and he read it and it made a lot of sense to him. Then he read this mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, like that he was reading. Instead of Hare. And he was doing it for a few years like that. Because Prabhupada says, if you chant this mantra, you will attain perfection. So he was doing it. Until he met the devotees and they took him to the temple and they introduced him. This is another thing you read like this. Actually, one Swami in ISKCON, I will not tell you his name. This Swami has a very great history. He told us how he came to Krishna consciousness. When he was abroad, when he was a college boy, he had attraction for one particular girl. And the girl had a dog whom she had named as Krishna. Because Krishna name became popular at that time all over the West. So once the dog was running away. So he thought that I will go and help her get the dog. Then I will win her favor. Right, no? So he ran behind the dog shouting, Krishna, 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 like that he was shouting. At that time Harinam Sankirtan was coming. So devotees saw that here is somebody like Lord Chaitanya running behind a sand dune. Having Krishna, Krishna like that. So immediately they crossed the road and they picked him up and brought him. He said, no, I have to go behind the dog. They said, dog, you can see later, you come with us. They took him to temple and they gave him prasad, they gave him books. And then he went on to become a sannyasi in ISKCON. And I will not tell you. Later on, someone will tell you about this. So, here you see, he called Krishna's name just like Ajamila called Narayana. But was he calling Krishna or he was calling somebody else? He was calling a dog. But Krishna took it seriously. Very similarly. Then he brought him to his devotees. Is it not a reciprocation? It's a very great reciprocation. You can see that in his life. So he became blessed, benefited. So, I have a personal experience, I can tell you, one reciprocation. One day, I had a doubt, serious doubt when I was in Govardhan Eco Village. I asked 5-6 devotees, why Prabhupada says this, why Shastra says that, what about this? Everybody gave some answer which was not very satisfactory. But later on, after a week or so, I prayed to the deities. So I went to the room and when I opened the cupboard, the book fell down. And the book fell like this. When I picked up, exactly there I got the answer for that. Now somebody may say, oh, it was just an accident, somebody may say, you just picked up the book, answer was there. But why only that answer should come? Correct, no? So Krishna felt this fellow is now fed up asking everybody, he is not able to find the answer. You repeatedly are desperate for something, therefore it is said, seek and ye shall find. It is said, tap the door and it shall be opened. See now the door opened now. You tap the door, it shall be opened. Seek and you shall find. It is said. So I was seeking from many people. At last, he answered. Similarly, in my school days, somebody gave me a book, Nan-Yar. Nan-Yar means, who am I? Small book, this much size, So I was delighted to get that book because I always wanted to know who am I, where am I coming from, where do I have to go. But when I read that pocket book, that Swami was a Mayavadi Swami. So he was telling in the book, you don't have to search, you are ultimately that God only. You are that God and everything. I got so wild when I read that. I tore it into pieces and I threw it. And I cried out also, how he can offend the Lord like this. So, but then my search continued. Different places. At last Krishna, brought me a copy of Lifco publication in South India. It's written by one Sri Vaishnava Acharya, commentary on Bhagavad Gita. Srinivasa Acharyalu. So that Bhagavad Gita was very soothing for me because prior to that I had read more than 50-60 Mayavadi books. All of them I got fed up. The more I read, I thought all the spiritualists, why are they doing like this? They are cheating, they are not giving the truth. But this book, when I saw, when I flipped the pages and I read it, Page after page, it was like nectar. It was a Sri Vaishnava's explanation about Bhagavad Gita. So beautiful it was. In some of the pages, I found a picture of a Vaishnava devotee, wearing tilak like this and keeping a shika, wearing dhoti kurta, worshipping the deity, chanting the holy name, bowing down to Lord. Even when he is lying in the night, Lord is showing his hand like this, and there is a cone of light falling on the devotee, which means Lord is protecting the devotee. So when I saw that, I was moved to tears. I said, "Oh, I want to be like this fellow," in the book. So later on, Krishna took me to ISKCON and devotees. And so therefore it is said, you get what you are looking for. It is said. And Krishna will arrange whatever you are looking for, you will get. You are looking for devotees, then you will get devotees. And it is He who connects. But many times we forget to be grateful for these type of reciprocations that Lord gives in our lives. We often tend to ignore it. For example, you all are staying in a center like this here in Karadi. So in Karadi, in Magarpata, earlier, for students and working youngsters, there was no such facility. There was only one Mataji, very nicely preaching, Sharan Radha Mataji. She had many programs. Many ladies attended the program and they became devotees. And they picked up very well, but the husbands didn't have opportunity much to hear, and also working boys had no opportunity. And eventually now, Krishna has come here in the form of the center, VYC. It has come here for all of you, where you are getting a facility where you get prasad. You're getting a facility where there is a kirtan, morning programs. Then you all did Rath Yatra also recently. And most importantly, you got somebody like Sanatana Prabhu and a team of devotees who is very well versed in scriptures, very deeply read, and who is a very, very excellent teacher. And, and also he is very enthusiastic. So today I was seeing Parth was exactly learning the dancing steps from Sanatana Prabhu. Yeah. So most of the things in our devotion service we learn by observing. Correct, no? We learn by observing. So actually in our life, if we come across sincerely practicing devotees, I would say there is no greater blessing in our life. The greatest reciprocation from Krishna's side. So you had a desire that I don't want to rot in this world, Prabhupada says. We want to go back to Krishna. But then we need, such devotees who can actually inspire us and enthuse us and motivate us, encourage us, engage us in service, teach us, train us, uplift us, and walk with us and be available for us. So it's not very easy in this world. Like, there are so many. Recently we put, question answer in Dallas. I had heard one. Immediately somebody from Dallas saying, "Oh, Prabhu, you came to Dallas. We didn't know that you came. We are very desperate. Please come to Leicester. Come to UK here. We will arrange visa and ticket and accommodation and arrangement. Everything we will give you. Please come." Everywhere people are inviting, but most of the places there is nobody to go and preach because the demands are unlimited and the preachers are limited. Very few preachers we have because Krishna himself says, "Manushyanam Sahasreshu." 1 out of 1,000 persons, he makes an endeavor in spiritual life. And out of those 1 follows, if we take 1,000 people, only 1 of them attain perfection. And even those who attain perfection, in that one who understands Krishna's personality, not very easy. It's very, very rare, extremely rare. So, in our life, we should learn to cultivate gratitude by being able to observe the reciprocation coming from the Lord in varieties of ways. Like Kunti Maharani, for example, in that 1.8.40, she says, Imejana pada shuddha supakvaushad viruddha. She's saying that Tava Vikshitai, by your glance, we are getting fruits and flowers and grains and rains, sunlight and moonlight and wind and everything we are getting. This is the grossest thing, the gross benefits that we are receiving. But nevertheless, we should have gratitude even for that also. Because no scientists who are talking big things, they can give you 1 grain. They can't give you 1 fruit. Nobody can create it. It's all supplied by Krishna. Aham bija, Pradhapita, Krishna says. So she is grateful for that. And we also should be grateful for the troubles that come in our life also. Really? How we can be grateful for the troubles? That is also Krishna's reciprocation. His Holiness Giriraj Maharaj was telling, for pure devotees, Krishna takes the karmic reaction and burns it all away. Karmani nirdahati kintuja bhakti bhajam govindam adipurusham. But for devotees like us, Krishna doesn't burn away the karmic reactions, but he takes away the karmic reaction. Then what does he do without burning? He keeps with him. Why? Because he is not fully confident that, we are going to go to him only. Sometimes we go a little bit towards Krishna and then a little bit in the side also we go. Somebody want to go to Bombay Bhagavatam class, they go up to Lonavala and they want to take a detour to go to mountain and see the waterfalls and the winds and everything. So Lord says that whenever my devotees go a little astray, what I do, I release some of those karmic reactions. So Lord uses, whose karmic reaction he uses? Our own only. And you wonder, some boys come and argue, Prabhu, I have become a devotee, why Krishna is giving me suffering? So you have to ask him, are you sure you are going towards Krishna only or you are doing something else? Then one realizes, I was going little, I thought that now I can do whatever I want because Krishna has taken away my karma. No, he keeps with him and keeps releasing. Proportionately. If you deviate 20%, then 20% only he will release. If you deviate 60%, that much he will release. And sometimes he has to give a slap or a pinch also, like he did for Bharat Maharaj. See, Bharat Maharaj, Lord saw that even after repeated warnings given, Bharat Maharaj did not take it seriously. He was repeatedly attracted to the deer. So what the Lord did? He gave him one lifetime of deer's body. Of course, that is not considered a punishment or something, because in deer's body also he remembered, the Lord, and he ate dry grass and he came to the saintly people and all that. But the point is, one should not do willful neglect in spiritual life, purposeful neglect. Then accordingly, proportionately, Krishna will punish. So, therefore, if troubles come in our life, we can know that these troubles are coming because I am trying to do sense gratification, and proportionately Krishna is giving this trouble in order to bring me to him, bring me to himself. Just like, for example, in a class you find a teacher may sometimes punish a child in order to rectify the mischievous nature of the child, correct? No? Or child may, ignore the teacher and not do the homework or something like that. Same way. Now, what to speak of tolerating the trouble that come in our life? A devotee should see that even they should be grateful to the trouble givers also. How we can be grateful to trouble givers and see it as Krishna's reciprocation? So there were kings in different parts of the country. At one time they had become very proud. So every king thought that this is my kingdom, but I want to take all the kingdoms in all the 8 directions. I want to conquer so that I can rule a lot. And that's what happened in India also. Many kings actually were attacking one another. So the foreign invaders took advantage of the situation of the country. They would find out of the 2 kings who's more powerful. They will find out. And they'll go and make friendship with him. And say that you want to finish that fellow? So I will help you. So they will help and they will defeat the king. And then this king will be thinking that I will become the king, but this fellow will say, see, I helped you, so you can marry my daughter or something like that. Then the king would marry. And the result is then they would use that king to attack many other kingdoms in the country. So he would be fighting against his own countrymen. It happened like that at one time. So these kings were also like that. They were fighting with one another, trying to expand their kingdom. At that time, one foreign invader came. His name is Magadendra, his name is Jarasandha. So Jarasandha came and he captured all these kings, something like 20,700 kings or something like that. He put them all in a jail. Actually, his plan was to cut them and put them in Narabali, some Bhadrakali's yajna or something like that, which are all not prescribed in scriptures. But he was such a ruthless fellow. So at one time, these kings understood that, oh, now we are all inside the jail now, and they had no proper food to eat, no water to bathe and drink, and their dresses could not be changed, and they were very dirty and unkempt. For years together, they got some food, but not up to the mark, not properly kept. So they were actually suffering terribly. So they thought that, is our life going to go like this all our life? Or is there some future hope for us? So then they wrote a letter to Dwarkadish. Oh Lord, please come and save us. So when Krishna read that letter, then he went with Arjuna and Bhima, and then you all know, he killed Jarasandha. Then when the jail door was opened, first time they saw Krishna eye to eye, although they had only heard about him. Beautiful form of Krishna with mukut and kundal and bluish complexion with eyes like lotus petals, with pitambar and jewelry in his body. It was such a cooling and soothing form to see. At that time, they told one famous verse, Na anusuyamo magadendra. They said, my dear Lord Krishna, we are not envious of Jarasandha. Rather, we consider you came in our life by sending Jarasandha in our lives. Why? Because if Jarasandha didn't come to attack and capture us, we will continue to be proud. Correct? No? He diminished our pride, captured us and put us in the jail, and also he didn't give us proper food and anything like that. So we suffered and suffered. In that we became very humbled. We were not humble, we became humbled by the situation. And then you came in our life, because you only appear in front of those who are humble. So when we were afflicted by the pride, will anybody be able to see you? No. A proud person cannot see. Even Jarasandha also, sorry, not Jarasandha, Jambavan. When Krishna went to Jambavan's Gufa, Jambavan fought with Krishna, you know that? Actually, Jambavan is a devotee of Rama. But why is he fighting with Krishna? Actually, there's no problem with Krishna. But he couldn't recognize Krishna to be Ram. But after fighting, Krishna gave him solid punch. Pet him like anything. And his whole body completely became like a balloon without air. He lost all strength and he fell to the ground. At the time he said, you cannot be anybody other than Lord Ramchandra, he said. Because nobody is so powerful to attack me. And then Krishna smiled and he massaged his body and brought it back to normal, like before. And then he gave his daughter in marriage to Krishna, Jambavati. But why I am telling you, Prabhupada says, when he was blinded by anger, he could not recognize Krishna. But when he became humbled, he could see Krishna as Rama. In the same manner, Jarasandha and Jarasandha's jail kings, when they were proud, were they devotees of Krishna? They were not. They were captured and put by Jarasandha in the jail. In the jail, they became thoroughly humbled with no proper food, water, anything. Then when Krishna came, when the jail door opened, they were completely weak. At that time, they became humble, and then Krishna appeared in front of them. So they are telling Krishna that we are not envious of Magadendra, Jarasandha, because thanks to him, somebody may ask, really, thanks? He captured you and put you in the jail, didn't give you food. Why are you thanking such a person? Anybody can say why he is thanking, why they are thanking Jarasandha? Yes, Mataji? Exactly. Because of that, they got to see Krishna. Otherwise, they would not have got to see Krishna. Now, let us assume one of you here, say you are very wonderful in singing, or you are very wonderful in speaking, you are highly talented. Everybody praises you, lifts you up. What happens? Boop, 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 boop. The ego gets building up. Suddenly one day somebody comes in your life and he gives you feedback. He says, don't think you are a great soul. You have problems. See, you are doing like this. This is mistaken. That's what happened to Keshav Kashmiri. Correct, no? Keshav Kashmiri and Nimaya Pandit. Yeah. Nimaya Pandit found some faults in his shlokas on the Ganga. He was like shocked. Is there any fault also in my songs? And then Nimaya Pandit pointed out. And then he cried to Saraswati, and Saraswati said, don't cry, I am also Lord's devotee only. You are also his devotee, I am also devotee, better go and surrender. And he surrendered next day and he became humble. And when he became humble, then he could see the form of the Lord. So that means, when our ego is crushed, that is also one type of reciprocation from Krishna. Like what happened to Indra in past time, or Brahma, or what happened to Keshav Kashmiri also. So, these, generally people cannot see it as mercy. Because they only see whether it makes me happy or it makes me painful. See, somebody crushes ego, it makes us pain. Is it painful or jolly? It's painful. So then people say, how this can be reciprocation? They say. But our calculation of whether it is Lord's reciprocation or not should be based on whether any particular instance brings you to Krishna's lotus feet. If something brings you to Krishna's lotus feet, that is surely sent by Krishna. You can see that. Therefore, we say failures are stepping stone to success. Sometimes we say, no? Sometimes challenges which come in our life, they make us a little more humble and level-headed. Our head will be between the shoulders. Otherwise our head will be in the clouds. We were thinking too high of ourselves. So therefore, in a devotee's life, Krishna will give you some setbacks, and he will also give you some successes. Successes make us proud, and setbacks makes us become little humbled. And both are reciprocation from Krishna. One can see like that. So Krishna is kind. He connects us to so many people and situations, eventually to bring us closer and closer to his lotus feet. As we are progressing, we will see that we have a combination of some good qualities and bad qualities. So the good qualities, they should be enhanced, and the bad qualities have to be purified. So if we ourselves take responsibility for purifying the bad qualities, then Krishna doesn't have to send any punishment. Because he sees that this fellow is on his own, he is working on it. Correct, no? Like sometimes you find a child goes to teacher and says, Madam, yesterday we had a lot of guests in our home. I couldn't do the homework. I am very sorry. Please give me one more day. I'll finish the homework and come. If you want, you can check with my mother. You can phone her up. The teacher says, no, never mind. No problem. It's all right. Your brother or sister is getting married. So a lot of guests came. Don't worry. You do your homework tomorrow and bring it. So the child is a good child, correct, no? On the other hand, some children, they don't do homework. And when the teacher is asking, who all completed the homework, he raises his hand. Completed, but he has never done it. When the teacher checks the notebook, it becomes evident. Then he gets punishment, right? No? Similarly, you will see, we have a mischievous tendency, as Prabhupada says in the purport reading, and we have a pure tendency also. We have both sides. There is an angel in us, there is an animal in us. So the angel has to be strengthened, animal has to be curbed. And for that, Krishna will reciprocate with us in varieties of ways. In this world, he will send varieties of situations. So that reciprocation, which we are talking about, which comes in different people's lives, we ourselves may be stunned when certain situations are, designed by Krishna in order to bring us, like Parikshit Maharaj, he was ruling the world, he was subduing Kali, everything was all right. But if Parikshit continued, then Kali would have never been able to do his work in Kali Yuga. Correct, no? So Krishna wanted to take him back to Godhead. And then he arranged one type of situation. So the pure devotee's life, Lord orchestrates everything. So what is the difference between that and what comes in our life? Is there a difference or is there no difference? If there's a big difference, the pure devotees, they are like good children. And when the Lord puts them through some difficult situation, they will very happily accept it. Vidura was insulted and thrown out of the palace by Duryodhana. He happily accepted it and turned it into a pilgrimage. You know that? And he met Uddhava, Maitreya, and then he became a great soul. Like that. So you will find that when pure devotees are subjected to Parikshit also, he took it in a very, very good spirit, like that. So in our lives also, we can even see, therefore there's a famous verse, Tattenu Kampam Susamikshamano Bunjana Yevatmakritam. That verse actually talks about how to see the Lord's hand and his orchestration in our life. That's what that verse explains that. So some people, they practice spiritual life in a ritualistic way without seeing the hand of Krishna in their life. Like if a child is returning to home, the child is seeing that shoes of my father is at the door. There is a coat, there is a tie. When the child sees all these things, what does the child remember? Father. Oh, my father has returned back from the company. He is not seeing the father, but the things belonging to father is reminding him of father's presence at home. In the same manner, in our Krishna conscious life also, if we take the Krishna conscious path very seriously to our heart and we practice, one of the first two symptoms that Bhagavatam has promised as reciprocation from the Lord is Ashokan Abhayan. Two characteristics. Ashoka means you will give up all lamentation in your life. You will not say, no, I don't have this, I don't have that, no, like that. You will not actually cry with the nose. What you don't have. What others have and what you don't have. You will not cry for that. Ashokan. And Abhayan means you will become super confident in spiritual life. I am Krishna's devotee, Krishna will take care of me. Whether corona comes or something else comes, I have no problem. Whatever has to happen in this world will happen. Jo hua, acha hua. Jo ho raha hai, acha ho raha hai. Jo hoga, acha. Only devotees can say this. So you are fully confident that everything is witnessed by Krishna. Can anything happen beyond Krishna's control? No. So a devotee develops a firm faith that in my life, good and bad that comes, the happiness and suffering comes, it's all watched by Krishna. Krishna is allowing. Prahlad also thought, if my father is troubling me, that trouble is actually known to the Lord. The Lord is actually arranging my father to trouble me to make me a pure devotee. He thought like that. Prahlad actually. So therefore he was never lamenting. Na ashokan, abhayan. No fear at all. So this is actually the first gift for a devotee who is practicing. If you want to see Lord's reciprocation in your life, na shochitana kankshati, we say, no? You come to the Brahma Bhuta stage. Right now we are Jiva Bhuta, but we come to the Brahma Bhuta stage. Jiva Bhuta means material consciousness. Brahma Bhuta means spiritual consciousness. So when you are in spiritual consciousness, you can see that the whole world is created by Krishna. And that's the reason we should hear Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita lectures. Today morning I was hearing, Prabhupada says that Punyo Gandha Pratibhyam Cha Tejas Chasmi Vavasa. Prabhupada says that if you take the rose, it has a very good smell. Correct, no? If you take the jasmine, it has a very good smell. That's called Punya Gandha. Punya Gandha means it's a fragrance. You like it very much. And there is also Papa Gandha, which is like gutter smell. Yeah, that kind of nasty smell sometimes. Sometimes a dead animal in the forest, when train is going, it's nasty smell. That's the Papa Gandha. So the Punya Gandha is me, Krishna says. But where does it come from? Prithivyamcha. That means the earth, the fragrance is programmed. So if you put a seed, earth is the one which supplies the fragrance to the flowers. Otherwise you take a rose seed and you cut the rose seed and smell, no smell will come. But when you put in the earth and water it, the earth supplies the fragrance to the... And an amazing thing is different fragrances come out. Correct, no? So many types of fragrances are kept by Krishna in the earth. Similarly, where the fruits are getting their juices, anybody knows? From the moon. Somor bhutva rasatmakaha, he says. The moon supplies 6 types of juices like the sweet, salt, sour, pungent, astringent, bitter. These type of things. So nowadays you find many vegetables, fruits are not very tasty because these fellows don't allow you to have the action of the moon on them. They take it and they put it in a smoke and they make it look like ripe and they want to sell it and make money very fastly. Like they take a green banana and they put smoke and they make it yellow and they sell it. It externally looks like banana fruit. When you eat it, chow, no taste. Yeah, because you should allow the moon's effect. Whatever time it takes, you should keep it in the garden. So that means the juices are given by moon, the fragrances come from the earth, which means once you read the Gita 7th chapter, you understand that everything in this world, the essence of everything is ultimately Krishna only. The taste of water is Krishna, the strength of the strong, intelligence of the intelligent. Yeah. So in this way, Gita should be studied in such a manner that you cannot see anything other than Krishna in this world. Wherever you go, whomever you meet, wherever you look around, you will find, like Prabhupada says, you all know how they make the soap. They use the soda, they use the oil, and they use some chemicals. They put together, then they mix it and they heat it, then the soap comes. The gross soap comes. Gradually the liquids are removed and the solid thing comes. Some scientists say that in the same manner we know how the earth, Mars and all these planets have been made by the Lord, by a combination of what all chemicals. But what Prabhupada challenged those fellows, okay, by the combination of the chemicals, all the planets have been made. In the same manner, by the combination of chemicals, soap is made. So soap becomes a soap automatically or somebody makes it? The soap which you use, is it made by somebody or the chemicals got suddenly combined themselves and they became a soap? Similarly, all these planets are made by a combination of chemicals. But who first of all created the chemicals and who combined the chemicals and who made the chemicals? So something to think about. Like you see, abroad there are some automated cars. In automated car you don't have any driver. You don't need a driver. You keep and the car goes right, left, everywhere. It's programmed to go. Somebody may say, see, there is no need of soul. The body is functioning on its own. But if you very carefully see, even the automated car is being operated by a soul outside the car. You agree? That means a Chetan, some Chetan fellow purchased the car and he is only automatically operating. Correct or not? Same thing with autopiloted planes also. This way we can prove that the Chetan Jeev, when it touches matter, only then the matter can move. Otherwise the matter cannot function on its own. Jada is Jada, Chetan is Chetan. So therefore we should understand the principles of Gita very deeply. Like one time I saw while going in the road a huge gigantic Rakshasa hands. They were lifting the sand like this and throwing. My Lord, I thought Rakshasa will be in the jungle only. How I am finding a big Rakshasa here in the city. You know what is this called as? JCB. Yeah? But the end of that hand we found a small cabin. In that cabin there was one fellow sitting. And he was just pressing the button. When he presses button, it will come like this. Another button, it will lift. Another button, it will throw it. Correct, no? Similarly, the soul is sitting inside this JCB of the bodily machine. Some people have a huge body also, correct, no? Like elephant, if you see, elephant is very huge. And one spark of soul is moving the body of elephant. Or there is a small dot-like creature when you open the old books. They move like this. You see it? Will that point move unless there is a soul inside? No, that's a soul inside. Therefore, the dot is moving. You're wondering, what kind of creature is this? Such a tiny creature. Huh? Whether it is that type of tiny creature or a big elephant, in both the bodies, what is there? Chetan Jeev is there. And the soul is servant of Super Soul, Krishna. So, when we study how this world is made up of Chetan, Jeev and Jada Padartha, and both of them are under the control of one Supreme, which is Krishna. So, he is the master of both. With that correct understanding, we should see the world around us. How this world is created, how this world is being maintained. We don't say that God maintained this world long before. We are right now seeing Him maintaining. Right now, who is giving you rains, grains, fruits, cereals, all these things? Is somebody giving you, or, long before God gave and now scientists are giving? You can see that even now, Krishna's maintenance program is still continuing. Nobody else is maintaining us. 8.4 million species is maintained by Krishna only. So He is the creator, He is the maintainer, He is the destroyer, Father of all creatures, is present in every atom, present in every heart of the living being, and also everything happens according to His observation. So with all this understanding, we can come to conclusion that Krishna is, the central pivotal figure in this world. Then we can see everything that happens in our life as a reciprocation of Krishna. One last point, we should not commit mistakes and say that, I think Krishna is making me dance like this, or, Krishna is making me do this mistake. Because sometimes for our mistakes, we should not blame Krishna. Like one devotee was bathing the deities, small deities, brass deities, which slipped out of his hand and rolled off. And he was saying, "Hey Krishna, why are you running away? Come. He was telling. And Prabhupada saw that. Prabhupada said, "Hey, for your mistake, you are blaming Krishna. You drop him down and say that, sorry, you are going away. You don't blame him." So we have to be careful in everything that we do in our lives. And then Krishna will know how to reciprocate with us at the appropriate time. Whether you see His reciprocation or not, He is reciprocating at every moment with everybody. As I told you all, the facility you are getting here, the devotees who come in your life, all of you think for a moment, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, where were you? Who are your companions? What type of activities you were doing? What was your mental absorption? And now think about your mental absorption, how it has changed. So is Krishna not very kind in your heart? He has brought you to the company of devotees, and sometimes when I think about it, I feel deeply grateful to Krishna, because we are saved from repeated degradation into innumerable bodies, 8.4 million species. We have been brought into the company of devotees. Now it's a golden opportunity. Somebody asked me, what is your aspiration in life? So most people think that you will say, I want to go back to Godhead or something like that. I would say that even if I have to take 1,000,000 lives, I should be born in the company of devotees. I should be chanting the holy name. I should faithfully practice spiritual life, if that is what is required to please Krishna. So we should be prepared for anything that Krishna wants us to do. But at the same time, there is one verse in Bhagavatam, it says, Brahma says that, my dear Lord, even if you want me to be an animal somewhere in this world, maybe in Vrindavan you want to make me a cow or a calf, you can make, he says. No problem. As long as I am with your devotees, worshipping you, remembering you, I am rightly situated. So, here, the center was started as a student center, and then gradually, along with students, the working boys also were preached to as leaders' voice. And then when their number increased gradually, then there was a request from the congregation that we want some congregation programs also, and the Jagannath deities came. So sometimes there is a challenge here, taking care of the boys and taking care of congregation. Sometimes if you take care of congregation, the boys are asking, we are all left out. Nobody is there to care for us. Or if you are taking care of the boys, congregation, you say, all programs are only for the boys. What about us? So I had the same challenge when I started my career in Kunjiberi temple. I had to do youth preaching and congregation preaching also. And I was the president of the temple also. So it was really challenging. Satisfying everybody is difficult. But when you grow in spiritual life, you have to become mature enough to think about what am I doing in order to make this project a better project. And we should not think about what am I not getting. What am I getting? That we should ask. What I have been receiving and what I should be grateful for, and what can I do to make this place a better place from my side. Like, there were a lot of boys here staying together. Sanatana Prabhu felt that let us send 6 of them to Magarpata and another 6 to AIT, and keeping 4 here. So this is a great sorrowful thing for some of the boys. Prabhuji, we were all together chanting, dancing blissfully. Why you have separated us? And now a small number is not so attractive. We want a big number. But what he has done is a very intelligent thing also, because if you put a few devotees in each of the centers, they will preach and bring more devotees. Then it will become like the previous center only, eventually. Isn't it? Yeah, they will bring. But there will be a little bit of struggle, which you may be thinking, Mangalarati when 4 fellows are dancing. It's like 4 Kumaras. Nobody else. Only the 4 of us are dancing. So you have to be patient for the crowd to increase. Or I can say, you can make a little more effort to bring new people. So, like I had sent a couple of devotees to ICC Bangalore, South Bangalore. And these 2 brahmacharis are having alone Mangalarati. Can you imagine in the morning? Like Sanandra, 2 saffron devotees, one Pune. They used to have it alone. So when I went there, they said, only 2 of us are doing morning program. Nobody, congregation comes only the weekend, they said. Then I told him, get 20 boys. And I had to get from, I said, you start preaching and then they can come and stay and go for the job from the temple. And after 6 months or 8 months I went, there were 20 boys. And then I found they all are getting up in the morning, wearing dhoti kurta. They are doing all the services. And they are all not brahmacharis, but they are all going to company. But they are staying in the temple campus. They are happy with the prasadam they get. So in this way, it's not very difficult to get the boys to come and stay together. And like in Boston, for example, we have 12 boys staying in the temple. They have a very simple rule. 8 hours of seva you do in the temple, you get Indian cuisine, prasadam. They have every week they have. Anybody can join. Of course, you have to follow the 4 regs and you have to attend the morning program also. And you stay in the temple campus. You get accommodation, you get prasad. Weekend you can go out. So the 12 boys are able to stay. So you all can, in the same manner, even if some boys are chanting 4 rounds or 6 rounds, but they are very sincere and serious, you can bring them. And by doing seva, they will grow. And they will eventually become serious. And this is the age where they can pick up, because after 3-4 years they'll get married, then wife, children, family, there are a lot of responsibilities will come. So before that they should take the training. And then when they go into family life, they can teach wife and children also. Then the home will be a Krishna conscious home. So in the same manner, the congregation devotees, you will be most jubilant if you are engaged in some kind of seva always. Book distribution or preaching or starting preaching in new colonies. One good thing with Sanatana Prabhu, he has been like this from day one. I have seen him. When I saw him first in Tirupati, after that he is very cheerful, very intelligent, very hardworking, and he always keeps everybody engaged. He took all the boys and went to the villages to distribute books last time, I remember that. And many of your congregation devotees sponsored also many books and everything. So he is very missionary spirited. And our Sudako Swami Prabhu, he was sent here for taking care of devotees. because he is like very motherly and although he is looking very big, like a Bhima. In appearance, he looks like Bhima. But in his Swabhava, he is like Yudhishthir Maharaj. He is very soft-natured and he can deal with congregation, he can deal with boys very nicely. At the same time, he has become preoccupied with the bakery and he has some responsibility in those things. So, but actually I've been repeatedly telling him that these are all things which a congregation can do. You should give time to boys. Brahmachari means you wash the floor, clean the floor, worship the deity, distribute books, preach, take care of boys. And congregation means husband, wife, eventually you should identify some leaders who will become counselors. And Mataji should take care of Matajis, Prabhuji should take care of Prabhujis. Sometimes husband, wife together can take care of some Mataji or Prabhuji, sometimes if they are single or something like that. But Brahmachari should not be given any headache for with any problems of the women, or that is not appropriate, because they are not, my Guru Maharaj said, Brahmacharis are like the birds and Grihasthas are like fishes. If a bird tries to help a fish, he comes down, then he has to go inside water, which means he'll be finished. He can't be Brahmachari. My Guru Maharaj gave this example. It's his example. So, of course, Prabhu can give seva, he can give opportunity, he can sometimes take meeting for Prabhujis, Matajis together, he can take. But problem solving, personal life, they should. Actually, many people write emails to me. Now, sometimes Mataji says, Prabhuji, my husband wants sense gratification, I want to advance in spiritual life. I don't like his material attachments towards me. I said, Mataji, you need a counselor, not me. I won't be able to help you. Because we are not in family situation. We are sadhu babas. I connect. Immediately, I added one fellow in CCI, said, this couple will guide you. And that's what Brahmachari should do. Brahmachari should never indulge in talking to woman alone, privately. And women also should be very protective of the sadhus by following that culture of keeping distance from men. Otherwise, what I have seen happening in such communities which pop up in different parts of Pune and other places, if the Matajis, unmarried girls, many of the unmarried girls nowadays want advice only from sadhus because they don't want to ask Matajis, because Matajis will go and put dama, they'll tell everybody. They don't want. Yeah. So because of that, because they think that if you go to Brahmachari, he's a sadhu baba, he can give me good advice. But it is not good. If Matajis want to see your leader go on for whole life powerfully, then you should allow the leader to flourish in his ashram. Of course, I had a similar type of community in Range Hills there in Jaydev Prabhu and Satyajit Mataji. They were so good. I don't have to do anything. With Grihasthas, they will take care of all the Grihasthas. I just have to go and sit like this, give a lecture. After that, they will take care of Matajis, Prabhujis, children, families. Personalized care they will give. Brahmachari's job is to give philosophy, Siddhanta. And he can't help in the household. He cannot, Garelu problems that they cannot help. They are not made for that. So the men have a duty to see that their wives are properly behaving with sadhus, and similarly the women have a duty to be chaste to the husband and also take help from senior counselors, those who are guiding all the couples, and in this way the community will be my spiritual master used to say in Bombay that congregation should see brahmacharis like children and they have to see that they are protected. In fact, if any unmarried girl troubles a brahmachari, immediately I would call Jayadevpur Satyajit Mataji. I'd call the girl and talk to them. She'll start crying. It has happened in temple sometimes. And then they will give her a correction. If you want to marry somebody, go to the marriage bureau. So we have to make sure that the sadhus order, especially I am telling you all these things very openly. Why? Because we are not sadhus living in the jungle. We are living in the cities. And we are not only preaching to boys, we are also preaching to the families. So therefore, many of the grihasthas and brahmacharis and boys nowadays don't know the Lakshman Rekha. Where should we draw a line? What we can talk, what we should not talk. Anybody is talking anything to anybody. Nowadays, even a woman working in a company, if she has some little problem with the husband, she goes and asks a colleague in the office, would you like to marry me? That fellow says, you are already married. No, I will divorce my husband, I'll marry you. It has become so cheap nowadays. People have no culture nowadays. So therefore, ISKCON is giving first class culture. Prabhupada has taught all these things in his books. How boys, brahmacharis, congregation, men, women, children, everybody, how they should behave. So the training of Varnashrama is very important in the respective order of everybody should stick to their vows of the order in which they are living. And then Krishna consciousness will be very smooth. So I came to Pune when my age was 25. Now I am 55 now. How many years are over? About 30 years old. Now people say he's like a Dadaji now, he's old fellow. Beyond 50, people will see you like a father, but when they are young, how much are you? Sutukosan Prabhu? 37 and he is 32, he is 37. So all of you, take care of these brahmacharis in such a way that they will go on till 80 or 90, all their life, and they will do great good, not only to Karadi, they will do for the whole world. They can do so much good. So, of course, he is spiritually taking care of all the devotees by arranging beautiful programs and everything. And we have to see that this community eventually develops into a very beautiful community of fixed up devotees, initiated devotees, 1600 devotees, mature devotees, and multiple colonies, programs should start. Prabhupada was telling that, temple building is secondary, preaching is primary. Harinam Sankirtan, Rathayatras, preaching, and making a lot of people into devotees. When a lot of devotees come, then temple will automatically come. You don't have to, make a temple like a big temple, like a football ground, and looking for where are devotees now. Yeah, first you make devotees, and then they will come together and make a temple. So, all the colonies should have a program. Anybody says, I am in Karadi or Magarpata, you name a colony and there should be a program. In somebody's house, somebody is hosting, somebody is giving. We have one Leelanand Prabhu in Hyderabad, he will come, we will invite him. So he's got 15 to 20 couples who are preachers. So first he makes them DCS, he calls them. DCS means like devotee care servant. For about 2 to 3 years. When new people come, he gives one DCS for everybody. So one DCS has got about 10-12 people under them. If they take care of him. And carrying, they become little mature in counseling. And after 3 years, he gives them a program. Okay, do you take program in that colony? Now they know how to care for people. Now they also know how to preach also. Then they start preaching. Then they preach and care, and they also make DCS under them. And like that, there are 15 programs going on now in Hyderabad. He started and empowered them. So, and then he goes once in a while to those programs. Like if any of you become preachers, then you can invite Sanatana Prabhu later on. Once in a while he will come to encourage your people. But otherwise, mostly you have to preach. So, if Grihasthas are preaching, people in society are very touched. Mataji's, Prabhuji's, they say that hey, these people are, having their family, children, job. Along with that, they are taking trouble. Because you are a living example. You are showing by your own practical example. They will say, sadhus are no problem. They are just chanting, dancing because they know their thing. But here are Grihasthas, even they are also, preaching and giving. So that's how Matajis get inspired by Matajis, Prabhujis by Prabhujis, children by children. If you put Parth anywhere, Parth will bring 50 children similar to him by doing Nursing Arati. So, there is one couple in Gorpadi, one mother, father, and 2 boys. These 2 boys, that Mataji made them like a role model. Now they have 40-50 children coming for the program. Because these 2 children, 2 kids, they are such wonderful kids, devotee kids. So others, for them, when the people come, they always talk about these 2 kids, how wonderfully they are doing. This is Gorpadi, where Satyadmaji used to take program. Gandhana, 2 boys, big and small. So, with good examples, our preaching will expand. And there will be always be difficulty. If difficulty is not there, how will you feel dependence on Krishna? If everything is going the way you want, what will happen to us? Complacency and pride. But if there is difficulty, struggle, some little bit struggle will keep coming. Then we remain on our hands and knees, taking shelter of Krishna. It's a very wonderful project. You all keep developing it, keep growing it. Actually, this is only one hall, but if you preach, different groups of people from different colonies can come here on different days also. And there can be some special programs for them. And in each colony, you have 20-25 devotees programs, and then you bring them 16 rounds. Tomorrow, you should be able to say, Prabhu, we have 200 16 rounders or 300 16 rounders. And that is a community. A community means you should have committed people. Not only people who come, appreciate your good work and go away. We want them to be a part of the community, members in the community. Not only they appreciate, they also practice. Same with boys also and congregation members also. So they were asking me, what is your vision for Karadi? Actually, vision for all small mini projects is the same vision only. And Prabhupada wanted us to preach and make devotees. That's the purpose for which we make a center. This center is good, very good center. It's a reasonable size hall you have. And, the varieties of programs that you are all doing, it's very good, it is. It is going to definitely develop. We have to take care, we don't commit any blunders, any mistakes. We are very careful and we are always humble and grateful. And then things will get better and better. Thank you very much. Prabhupada ki Jai. For Bhaktivinoda ki Jai. I will give prizes.